have seen you. I have seen you. I could never see enough.
Well, we were always in a conversation, but we were kind of just talking about, and this has kind of been a conversation I've had several times of the way I write is I just keep processing an idea and try to get it. I feel like one thing that God lets us do in songwriting is to get something, a concept He's trying to teach us, and so it's almost like we write it out and express it. But in this particular conversation, one of the things that's kind of keeps landing on me is that, which is kind of where some of the verses came from, of like there's certain things that you experience in your encounters with God where you just can't go back. Sometimes I jokingly say that someone could show me on paper the proof that there is no God, and part of me is like, yeah, I've just seen too much. And so even in some of that language of, I have seen you, I could never see enough. I have felt you, I'm ruined for your touch. Those aren't things we're just spitballing out. There's things where when I've had those real encounters with God, where, and sometimes it's not the most mystical thing. Sometimes it's just Him saying exactly what I needed to hear in exactly the way that I could receive it. And it kind of begins to help you not put your expectation on other people, because you just go, no one else can do that. Only God can do that. So that was where some of the verse, that was a little bit of the conversation material that the verse came from.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the chorus, I think Scott and Benji and myself all tried to just wrestle through the simplicity of the word holy, and not treat it, we wanted to treat it holy. He tried to treat it as set apart. And it is that's really what we long to see, is something that's set apart. And I think we had that conversation of, in heaven they just say holy, 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 not because they were taught a song, but because they see the one that they're singing to, and all they can declare is like, there's no one like you. You're set apart. And so when you see that, the Bible talks about the angels bow down and they can't stand to not look at Him, so they look at Him, and they can't stand to look at Him, so they bow down. And the Bible says, or 24 elders, it says they bow and then they look up, and they're constantly bowing because there's no one like Him, just set apart. But the more you see, the more you want to see, and it's something that is so satisfying and yet never fulfilling. It's like, I want more. I need this in my life, more of that.
And even in that word, it's not like the angels sit around and go, hey man, what are some praise words that we can put in a song and make it a worship chorus? It's almost like you just get a sense that like there are some occasions where just one word is the only thing that comes out of you.
Yeah.
And it's the only word that fits. Obviously they wouldn't keep saying it, but they come up every time. It's just what you're saying. And it's like, there's just one word that fits here.
Yeah.
And so just trying to, and then the more I see, the more I want. I don't know if we said this in the right or not, but you've heard it said that the highest form of praise is imitation. And we become what we desire.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the bridge, I think, is like the funnest part for us, and just the never gonna stop chasing you, never gonna stop praising you, never gonna stop pursuing you. And I think that pursuit, once you really do see Him, I hear a lot of people question things in their lives, they start to question God, and almost like I need this for me. But when Paul gets struck by the power of God and he sees for the first time Jesus, I never see him again saying, blind me again, like God has to pursue him. The pursuit now shifted. And now there's a pursuit shift where Paul is like just in that pursuit. And I find like that's it. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. The things in our lives may not be perfect, but our pursuit will never change. And that's where I feel like God wants us. He just wants us, and I'm never going to stop. And because He doesn't ever stop. And so it's not about being perfect as much as it is not stopping.
Yeah, and it's funny because I can sing that bridge from really two different places. One is there is a place of like a determination, but there's also a place of, there's a little bit of smile in that, of like, I'm never going to stop. This whole thing, one, I'll never uncover everything, but I'll spend my last second trying. And that's kind of just this incredible beauty of our relationship with God, is it's not like He's hiding from us. But in the same way that I'll spend my entire life meeting my wife. We'll spend an entire eternity meeting our God, which is, it's again, I think we just kind of landed on that. That's just our pursuit.
Yeah.